round of the UTV Championship in GNCC Racing. It is the AMSOIL Ironman GNCC, and already we witnessed today a great ATV battle as Walker Fowler wrapped up his 12th win of 2017, and today, and this evening, I should say, we get set to reset the stage for our side-by-side racing where two brothers, Cody and Hunter Miller, are going at it for the national championship in this side-by-side racing action. There's a lot of spoilers that are here to try to mix things up today. We'll see whether or not that happens. I'm Rodney Thomas along with Chuck LeMaster. Jesse Strawham will be joining us in the booth here on Race. Side racing, and as we said, the season finale and row number one will feature some of those key riders we're talking about. Cody Miller in the number 1 car, the defending champion. Kyle Cheney in the number 2 car will be lining up in that first row, and of course Hunter Miller, who was holding on to the points when we headed into the last round of racing, is riding in the number 6 car there on row 1. Kevin Trantham, who joined us in the booth there earlier today on RacerTV and also a part of the podium presentations in 4x4 Pro class, is in row number 1 in the 22 car, and former UTV champion, national champion multi-times here in GNCC, William Yoakley, making his return in the 412 car here on row number 1. As all attention now focuses down toward Ricky Tower as we get set to get this show underway and the racing here this afternoon. Ricky Towery letting these drivers know to shut them down, guys, and we're getting ready to go GNCC racing. So at this point now, all attention focusing up toward turn number 1 where Ricky Towery is waiting to signal these guys and let them know it's time to roll. And he does that by saying, 10 seconds for row number 1 here at the Ironman UTV Championship finale. And they're off as they roll into that first turn. Our first 5 cars nearly side by side, but it's the Yamaha number 1 of Cody Miller taking off with the early lead in this one. And we'll see whether or not he's able to hang on to that physically and time adjusted as row 2 gets ready to roll with John Barnes, Michael Swift, Walker Fowler, Cole Secoy, and Sean Bogdan. Row 2 off and rolling now. And rounding that first turn, it's the 222 car of Cole Secoy grabbing the early lead in this second row. Row 3, Tim Farr, former ATV motocross and GNCC star. Welcoming back Miles Pratt, Robert Boynton, Jamie McCoy, John Kletz, Nolan Weitzel, and Casey Boynton off and rolling now. It's to the inside, the 116 car, or 115, John Kletz. But then it's Tim Farr, the number 4 Can-Am car, moving to the front of the pack on row 3. Row 4, Brian Buchanan, all by himself out here in row 4, final row of the XC1 Pro UTV class. Green flag waves on this one. I bet you can't guess who gets the early lead off this row.
If the battery is dead.
Row number 5 starts our XC2 Pro Sport class. On row number 1 of the XC2 Pro Sport class, this is row 5, Jonathan Powers, Darren Oakley, Spencer Modlin, Jason Watt, and Brian Riggs. And they're off on row 5, the leaders in points of the XC2. It is sorted out there. We'll see if we can't get a number off this car now. This is the 28 car, I believe. And that's Darren Oakley taking the early lead in this one, second in points heading into this championship. Row 6, Chris Wolf, Austin Seelig, Jim Guggenauer, Sean Hayes, and Richie Nolan. And the green flag waves on this one, and we're off. The 714 car getting a great jump off the line there. Not sure if that is Craig Bowman or not. That very well could be. Let's see. 426 back in the number 2 spot. So we'll go down now to the row 8. Brian Baker, former GNCC great, along with George White, Lucas Miller, and also Jared Ham. Row number 8. That's your final row of the XC2 Pro Sport class off and rolling, and one of the team IXCR, whom we are in conjunction with and co-sanctions this weekend. Getting on to the early lead in this one, it looks like. Now we go to our XC3 Pro-Am. Colin Truitt, who captured the A single-seat national championship earlier today, along with Brett Wingfield, Matt Zeiler, Donald Harrison, and Josh Davis. .101 car, George White out front in this one. And looks like he's going to carry that into turn number 2 as well. I believe our next row, we got Scotty Vetri, Brent Vandervold, Jeremy Wallace, Matthew Cassie, and Luke Shepard. Second row of the XC3 Pro-Am class off and rolling now. Oh, woo, up on 2 wheels. This isn't a motorcycle race. By the way, there is Colin Truitt now, the winner of that championship this morning. I must have got off base here just a little bit for you guys, but regardless, coming up next, I believe we've got Matthew Cassie in this one. That one would be row 10, Scotty Vetri, Brent Vanderford. Also Luke Shepard in this one. So right now, row 10 is off and rolling. And it is the 01 car, former motocrosser Matthew Cassie out there. Marchese. Up next will be row 11, Scott Heller, Travis Olson, Josh Whitrock, Devin Young, John Moore, Nathan Whitaker, and Eric Polomarki. Maki, there they go. Row 12, XC3 Pro-Am class, Bill Bishop, Scott Lawrence, Ura Saylor, Devin Frederick, Keith Reed, Mark Straller, and Sean Smith. And they're off. Gonna get some big speeds going into the turn. The farther back we go in this one, this could get more and more exciting. Scott Lawrence, good line into that first turn, going to grab the early lead, it looks like, in this one, and should take it into the second turn as well. As we head down to row 13, Sylvan Massey, your final XC3 Pro-Am driver, getting ready to take off the start line right now. And Sylvan Massey and they must have added someone late on that one. I only have one. That might have been Mitchell Robinson and Tanner Bowles, too. Row 14, not real sure what's going on. Let's see if that's a 212 one. All right, we'll sort it out on this one. Green flag waving on this, and my eyes jumping around so much today, I might have gotten lost in the paperwork. Nothing out of the ordinary for me. Well, I think we should be getting down to into the amateur modifieds next. Row 15, Bill Ross, amateur modified, Andy Niebel, Hunter Thompson, and Timothy Spritzler. .45 car, Bill Ross taking to the early lead on this one. And he will be able to seal it going into turn 2, it looks like, as well. Amateur modified the second row in this one. Jim McGee, Will Bowen, and Tanner Fowler. Will Bowen, the 137 car, jumping out to the early lead in that one. Row 17, amateur modified, Ryan Kunkel, Willie Jacket, Jason Bannon, Carl Martin, and Ryan Hart. On the car outside, or is that 106? Next row off and rolling now. I believe this one has got Falk, Robert Lindsay, Michael Zachel, Matthew Ashton, Wesley Wolf. Also starting in the side-by-side racing today, nearly a top 5 overall finish, but mechanical issues giving him problems there. And women UTV coming up. Renee McGee, Veronica Weitzel, Tamitha France, and Vicky Fowler. Well, the beauty of the last row coming up here in just a few moments is going to be, we'll know they're there. The green flag waves on this one. This, I believe, is row number 18, Michael Falk. And I do apologize, as I'm not sure what's going on with my paperwork. It might be a little different than what they had decided on there at the last, but regardless, what we got going on is a great UTV battle, and especially for the overalls, the Miller brothers go at it. Who's going to come out on top? Will we have a returning champion, or will Big Brother have the bragging rights at the end of 2017? Stick around. The UTV battle and the finale at the Ironman GNCC continues on RacerTV right after this.
Is it on? Hey, this is Walker Fowler, and you're Hey, this is Walker Fowler, and you're watching GNCC Live at Ironman. Watch. Is it on?
We handle your races, your jumps, and your trails. Isn't it time you give your daily driver the same love? AMSOIL Signature Series Synthetic Motor Oil delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard. AMSOIL also offers a full family of dirt bike lubricants, giving you above and beyond fortification for your weekday and weekend vehicles. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
As riders and racers, we understand the need to get quality parts, apparel, and accessories fast. We have the horsepower of multiple warehouses to make sure your gear, OEM parts, or accessories make it to your door quickly. Check out our easy-to-use website and experience customer service that takes the whole shot. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
Here he is, Walker Fowler, Brand National Cross Country XC1 Pro Class Champion. And welcome back to Racer TV. I'm Chuck Leemaster, joined in the booth by Jesse Strawham, and this is the 23rd annual running of the AMSOIL Ironman GNCC. So welcome to Indiana, Jesse.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. You know, I said it wasn't Ironman without the snow this morning. We had some snow flurries, and I feel that it's just getting colder as the day goes on.
It feels like it. Now we've got a Cody Miller on the screen there, and it looks like he's being chased by Kyle Cheney. We got a brief glimpse of him there. Now we know that during the start, we know that Cody Miller got the whole shot, and there we're seeing a shot of Cody in that Yamaha right there. Followed closely. We've got quite the race here. Is that Kyle Cheney?
Yeah, look, Kyle Cheney.
Yeah, and look at these two different lines at the hill climb there. We've got two completely different lines crisscrossing at the base of the hill. Now, both of these guys have gone out and they've walked this course, sometimes more than once, just to get an idea of what they're going to do. And so now that racecraft and that strategy is coming into play, and there's one race every year that requires an incredible amount of race strategy, and that's right here at Ironman with the multiple hill climbs, the creek crossings, the motocross track. Who's this?
That's Cody Miller.
Cody Miller indeed, yes. Leading, now Cody, just to catch our viewers up, Cody Miller is our reigning champion. He's also our points leader, but Jesse, you're aware that he hasn't won a race all year.
He has not won one race this year, but is still our points leader, so that shows you consistency does win the race.
Absolutely. His worst finish all year has been a 4th place. He's got a handful of 2nd place finishes, and he has the points lead right now by a margin of 3 points over his brother, Hunter Miller.
And, you know, that's definitely, he wants to be in the middle of the box more, just as much as the rest of those guys, but a little bit more because he hasn't been there yet this year. And he's on that Yamaha. He's got that machine working right for him, and it's showing. I mean, he is there.
Well, we've been watching him all season long, and he came out of the gate strong, and he was super fast right from the get-go, but he just hasn't put it right in the center of the box. And even when he thought that he did, you know, it was time adjustment, Kevin Trantham coming up and snagging it from him in the official results. So we know he's hungry. We know he's riding good. We know he's got a strong team. We know he's got a great crew and a great machine underneath him. Can Cody Miller do it today? You know, we've got an hour of racing, and we're only about 10 minutes into this thing. So it's anything can happen in GNCC UTV racing.
And with Ironman, you know, we do have those tight wood sections right there before that hill climb. So that does change things up when there's the tight woods, because we do see a little bit more carnage.
Always, always. You know, this goes back to Ironman in 2007 was the very first ever UTV race. And it was an experiment to say, okay, we know that these UTVs are kind of catching on, and people showed up mostly in Rhinos,
yes.
And I think there were some Polaris Rangers.
No, there were some, I think the 570 Razors.
Some of the 800 Razors,
the 800,
the first ones
that's
out,
yes.
right? And GNCC said, okay, next year we're going to do a full season of this, and a full season meant 4 races. But Ironman is always a nostalgic race for UTV racing, because this is where it all started. This is home for UTV racing. And, man, I'll tell you what, I know that people that don't live here in this state, you hear Indiana and you think, what are you going to do, race in a cornfield? And they just don't understand that this place has it all.
It does. It has the hill climbs, it has the tight woods, it has the open fields, it has the motocross track. It really does give us
the motocross track
diversity.
nowadays that's named after the GNCC race of all things, Ironman Raceway, you know?
Exactly.
And we've got the perfect dirt. I mean, racers all year long are looking forward to coming to Ironman in October.
And, you know, we didn't have too many rainstorms beforehand, so the track is actually prime. I mean, they really couldn't ask for better conditions this weekend.
Well, except for the weather. It is a little chilly out here.
I'm not going to complain. There wasn't too much. There's no rain. We had a little bit of snow, but no rain, so there's nothing to complain about.
Well, you got a good point there, because, yeah, we're all in good shape here. We should be thankful that, you know, I think I drove through about 200 miles of rain yesterday to get here.
Oh.
And here we are. Everything's dry, and our racers are excited to be here, and it looks like we're off to a great start for this race.
You know, my favorite thing about these tracks with the motocross track is a lot of these racers, because we are woods racers, they aren't used to it. So that's another place where we typically see some carnage, and we get to see these cars fly.
Oh, across the motocross track, yeah, for sure. You know, the family did such a great job building this track here. And, you know, several years ago, this was just a big pit, and sometimes it would flood out, and there'd be a big mud hole at the bottom there. And now it's just a perfectly groomed, couldn't ask for anything better motocross track. It's this event is a world-class event, I would like to say.
It really, really is. And, you know, a lot of people come out to the Ironman, and that's the one round a year that they do make it to.
I think that this race here has the highest attendance in terms of spectators all year long. I know that once we get up into Wainoa country, we get a lot of racer entries, but Ironman has been growing and growing and growing. And, man, in the early days, you know, if this is one of your first couple years to come here, the early days, if there was ever any rain, we would get towed into the track across a cornfield that was growing corn. That was the livelihood of this property.
And you had to get towed to the starting line because it was in the back of that cornfield.
That's right. That's right. Sometimes you'd get stuck before the race even started.
Oh, yeah, you'd be covered in mud before the race even started. But, you know, they really made this facility perfect for us. With the new gravel in, the parking's great. We really can't complain. And these guys look like they're having a blast out there on that race course.
Yeah, let me go ahead and take you through the running as it stands right now. We've got one lap complete, and that lap time was 12 minutes and 18 seconds. That was set by Cody Miller, who's currently in the lead. Cody Miller leads over Kyle Cheney, and then his brother Hunter Miller is in the third place position About 3 seconds are separating them. So we've got, actually on screen we saw Cody and Kyle, but Hunter is right there in the mix. And we've seen Hunter win one race already this season. We saw him win last season. So Hunter is second place in points right now. And Kyle Cheney mathematically is out of it right now. He actually missed a round and had some, I guess you'd call it bad luck earlier in the season. But right now we got the three-way battle for a win. And we got a two-way battle for the championship. So it goes Cody Miller, Kyle Cheney, Hunter Miller. Tim Farr is back in the car right now. He's running in 4th place. And Kevin Trantham, 2-time podium Trantham, is right there in the 5th place position. 6th place we have Sean Bogdan. And then William Yoakley is in the 7th place position. 8th place goes to John Barnes. And Darren Oakley is in the 9th place position, and he's actually leading the XC2 Pro Sport and 9th place overall. And then in the 10th place position, another XC2 piloted by Jonathan Powers. So that takes us through our top 10. We're waiting on 2 laps to complete here, and we'll see what happens this running order. It's always interesting, Jesse, that this running order, it just changes so rapidly as the race starts to unfold. And
I love how the XC2 class is actually starting to be competitive with the XC1 class now. It's really starting to look a lot like the ATV and bike side.
Well, you bring up a good point that this sport has progressed to just the professionalism, but now the skill and the setup and everything that's required to be a pro-level team is no longer just Farmer Bob out in his barn building a roll cage. There's a lot to it these days. And
some of these guys do put a lot of training in as well to get that #1 spot.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a lot of work to be had driving that car and maneuvering it for an hour straight on this GNCC technical course. It's just not something that you can do without the proper training.
Well, without the proper training, without the proper vehicle, without the setup, I mean suspension, and you know, everybody always wants to talk about horsepower, but really what it comes down to, especially in these,
suspension,
is setup.
100%.
For sure. Well, folks, right now we're going to take a quick break. We want to recognize some of our sponsors. When we come back, we'll be closing in on that second lap complete. We'll bring you the live action right here on RacerTV.com.
GNCC is Bald Eagle 50 cal, cowboy boots, diesel trucks, Copenhagen, Bush Light kind of men.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best? The best. You have to have the best equipment under the hood. That's why I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
for those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
I'm Barry Hawk, 8-time GNCC champion, current Coastal Racing team manager. Coastal Racing depends on Evans coolant because there is a lot of variables in GNCC racing. Toughest, most demanding sports there is. From my experience, without a doubt, Evans is the way to go. We have it in all of our race bikes, our race ATVs, our UTVs. It is for sure, without a doubt, a must on our race team. The pros use Evans coolant, and so should you.
And welcome back to Ironman Raceway here in Indiana. I am Chuck Leemaster, joined in the booth with Jesse Strawham, and you're watching RacerTV.com, and this is the final race of the day, the AMSOIL UTV race. And right now, before we went to commercial, we had Cody Miller leading the way, being chased by Kyle Cheney and his own brother, Hunter Miller. And it looks like we're getting a good shot at the hill climb right here. Look at all the spectators out there, Jesse.
Oh, you know, Ironman Hill, the hill climb itself, any hill climb in GNCC racing.
Right,
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
I think is the...
They don't get to go up Ironman Hill. But any hill climb in GNCC racing always attracts the spectators because when you get to the top, usually there's a nice lip, especially here in Indiana. And I know when I came up, we went to the cut right real quick, and that front end lifted up, and so I'm very grateful for the spectators. Huh? Even at the 9 o'clock race, there was plenty of spectators out there We were not short for it at all.
Well, that's part of what makes Ironman is that we've got all these spectators out here cheering you on, and man, they push you to do better. Sometimes
they're ready for the action. That's what they're ready for.
they are. And look at this, coming in, sizing up that hill, and saying, all right, we've got some spectators pointing some lines, but the top guys, when you see the top guys come through here, they've already been out there 2 or 3 times today. They know exactly where they're going to go. They know what they're going to be looking for, and they've got that line scoped out. The thing is that lines tend to change as the race unfolds, and so sometimes you want to be looking and seeing what your spectators might be saying. I'm stumbling over my words here because I'm looking at live timing and scoring, and we have a glitch. We have a glitch going on. We've got an amateur limited that checked into first place. There might be
that lap time's.
Yeah, we will see. But right now, live timing and scoring is saying that Matthew Ashton out of the amateur limited UTV ran a 12-minute and 5-second lap time. So we'll see how that changes. But if you're following along at home and you're watching the live timing and scoring, and we're watching it pretty closely here ourselves.
It looks like Kevin Trantham's coming through the finish right now.
Is that Kevin right there on our screen? This is such a beautiful shot. Our RacerTV crew does such a good job keeping track of these guys and giving us. You get to see the real beauty. That's Jamie McCoy right there, the number 70 machine, making his way through the scoring barrels. He's also in the XC1 class. Last we saw, I'm not exactly sure where he's running, but he's been at this UTV racing thing for a long time. We've seen Jamie around for sure.
That's a name that's definitely familiar to the crowd as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. But this raceway, this motocross track that we're looking at right here on screen, Jesse, this brings a different element to UTV racing.
It brings a different element to GNCC racing.
That's true. That's true.
It really does. I mean, there's some sand in there. There's a lot of hard packed. It's incredible.
This section that you're seeing right here is polished clay, and then you hit this little step-up tabletop.
And in this corner, it was really thick this morning, and there was like a thick sandy.
It's still thick, a lot of clay in there. Oh, look at this hill climb. We've got somebody. We got a bottleneck on the hill climb, or
looks
is
like
this?
Somebody's stuck.
Yeah. We've got. And look at all the spectators out there trying to get this guy going.
I would say mud fleas, but there's no mud there. But they're here to get him out of there.
Yeah, the thing is that when you've got a car stuck like that, and we call them cars because they do weigh over 1,400 pounds.
They're bigger than a Honda Civic. They're definitely a car.
They're definitely a car. That's right. They're bigger than a Honda, and they're a lot faster than a Civic.
100%. Also, we want to remind you, we have a Snapchat account now at GNCC Live. So to follow the racing action, we post on the story throughout the day. And if you give us a follow on Snapchat, of course, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, catch all of the live racing action that you're not seeing on screen.
Hey, and since we're giving public service announcements, it is almost time. Oh, it is time to go trick or treating. That's right. Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. Trick or treat is open on Vendor Row. So get your costumes on, get up and down Vendor Row. If you get a Snickers bar, drop it by the announcer's booth for Jesse and myself. We'll eat a Snickers bar. And at 6 o'clock right here at the track, there will be a costume contest at the Team Faith booth. And we'll be judging best costume, and we've got GNCC plaques to give away to the best dressed kids, the best, most creative costumes, and of course we'll also be playing 9 Square and roasting some s'mores and having marshmallows, and of course chapel at 7 o'clock at Team Faith, and that's a shameless plug for myself there since I'm the Team Faith chaplain, and always a privilege to be here and be a part of this GNCC Racing Nation.
It really is. We all come together, definitely a big family. And we're seeing that on screen. It looks like this guy's high-centered. I saw some smoke coming off that left tire there, driver's side tire. So it's looking like he's high-centered, and these mud fleas just cannot get him out.
No, not when you're talking 1,500 pounds. You're talking almost a ton of metal right there.
They're going to get all those guys there to lift that car up.
Yeah, you're right. As he was spinning, he has some smoke coming up, and it's interesting that you can smoke a tire on hard clay. It doesn't have to be a rock.
No, not at all. If it's dry enough, for sure, that can cause for a bad day for him as well.
All right, we've got a mud hole out there somewhere because I couldn't even tell who that was. Oops! He's giving us the underside view. I didn't know who it was, so he says, all right, well, check out my skid plates.
They really should put the numbers on the bottom these days.
That's the second car we've seen flipped over today. You know, that might be a good idea. Number 32, and he's off and running.
Well, the ATVs created a really nice rut right there after the finish line. It's a small corner, and the rut's deep enough that if you catch it, you're going.
Yeah. The ATV, obviously, the ATV width of the slot car ruts, they're not the same width as a UTV, so it's real easy to get caught in those and send yourself over on the side. But that's the thing. These guys, you know, just stay strapped in, stay calm, and spectators will be there.
Do. Yeah, so, you know, you go over, you're just holding on to the harness, waiting for the impact.
All right, looks like we're going to have a replay here. Oh,
there he
man.
is, caught in that rut.
Yep. Hard on the brakes and just had the center of gravity off balance.
Right into that tree, too.
Right into the tree. The tree stopped him. And look at that. He barely comes to a stop, and spectators are running over and saying, all right, we got you.
And that's the beauty of GNCC racing
right there. It is. 1, 2, 3, push. Now go.
Now we got this shot of the motocross track
again.
Of the motocross track. It's just so smooth. I just can't say enough about how great that section was. You take the far left. It's a nice smooth ride down that hill.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, it's not what you see during the outdoor nationals when that gets all rutted up and real super rough. Today, the ATV's been able to pack that down, and it's a nice smooth track. And we've got looks like live timing and scoring is back up and running now. We've got 2 laps complete now with Cody Miller continuing to lead this race. Cody Miller followed by Kyle Cheney, Hunter Miller in the 3rd place position, Tim Farr in 4th place, and Sean Bogdan in 5th place. I believe that's how it was running the last time around.
It's looking like they cut about 2 minutes almost off that last lap time.
That's a really good observation because they were over 12 minutes that first lap.
And you got to think they bypassed the finish line that first lap as well. So you're adding
so
that little bit of finish.
Back out by the
and they still
start
cut the
line.
lap time.
So, yeah, that's a good observation. So they're running, what, 10 minutes and 48 seconds here for their lap times? At least that's what Cody Miller was doing. Kyle Cheney was a 10-minute and 49-second. So we've got a battle right here, even though we don't see it on the screen. You know that Kyle Cheney is stalking Cody, and he's ready to make a pass if Cody gives up. If Cody gives an inch, I think that Kyle is right there because Kyle has nothing
to
lose and he has nothing to gain except for
a win.
And that's what we do as racers. We go out there and we win.
Exactly.
That's why we are here. So, yeah, nice little battle shaping up there between Cody Miller, Kyle Cheney, and Hunter Miller is right there in the mix. Also, actually, Hunter Miller had the fast lap time with a 10-minute 47-second. He was actually a second faster than his brother Cody. So he's following up. That's a three-car train right there with Cody leading it. So the pressure is really on Cody right now.
And you know, that's definitely, when the pressure's on like that, that's when sometimes mistakes are made or the best racing is made from it.
It's either or.
Yeah, it's hit or miss. And with Cody Miller, the way he's finished this year, you know, I think that can make for some good racing for us.
I think that you're right. We'll give you a quick rundown here. We've got 2 laps complete. We've got Cody Miller, Kyle Cheney in 2nd place, Hunter Miller also out of Greenville, Texas, Tim Farr, feeling very comfortable, just sitting outside of that top 3. He's in 4th place position right now. His lap time was about 10 to 12 seconds, a little bit slower than our top 3 guys, but Tim Farr, he knows what he's doing, and he's a guy that knows how to make up time, so never count him out. Sean Bogdan's in 5th place out of Rice's Landing, Pennsylvania, and he's sitting there. He's stalking Tim Farr. He's all over Tim Farr's bumper, so we've got a couple of nice battles going on out there. Mouse Pratt is in the 6th place position out of Jefferson, Pennsylvania. William Yoakley is all over Mouse's bumper. It looks like they're separated by less than 10 seconds.
You know, something curious to me, Walker Fowler is running the fastest lap time after taking his 12th win. He's running a 10:39.
You know what's most interesting about Walker Fowler in this race is he didn't make it to the start line on time.
No, he didn't.
We were sitting here in the booth, and his line was taking off, and he was on the way to the starting line.
He took off with the line behind his.
Exactly.
We saw it on screen there, and you know, for him to come through and
he's
after
in 11th
getting off
place.
the quad for 2 hours, taking his 12th win of the season, and then coming out here and running the fastest lap time, that's really impressive.
That is impressive, especially when you consider, and adjusted timing is everything. It means that there's a lot of traffic out there, and he ran a 10:39 compared to our leader's lap time of 10:48, 10 seconds faster.
And that shows the endurance side of it.
Oh, man.
You know Walker Fowler's putting in that work
Oh,
in the gym as well, on and off the machine.
Yeah, he's so lighthearted about it, and
He's so humble. He really is.
He lets you think that he just sits on the couch and eats bonbons and hot dogs all week long and comes out, but he doesn't.
No.
He's training.
He's training every day. We know that.
Yeah, it's obvious. On a day like this, man, the stress of, well, he got the whole shot too. I think he had to stick around for the whole shot award. I guess they did it all together. Anyway, he's on the podium for a long time.
He was.
Meanwhile, everybody else is in their fire suit. They're down at the starting line. And old Walker Fowler's got to go back to his truck and change clothes and get in his car. And, man, the race left without him. But he's just out there having a good time right now.
So we are halfway through this round of UTV racing, and we still have Cody Miller in the lead, followed by Kyle Chaney and his brother, Hunter Miller, is right there, and only 3 points separate them, I believe.
Yes, 3 points are separating them. We got 111 points to 108 points. So it's whoever beats the other today.
Oh, man, and you know that I'm really excited for this finish. Definitely has me on the edge of my seat.
Let's take a quick look at, well, I was going to say I'd run you through a couple of different classes here, but we're having a little technical difficulty.
Yeah, in our XT2 class, it looks like Darren Oakley's leading it, followed by Jonathan Powers, and it looks like he's having about a, minute lead? Or second?
Yeah, well, we got, and those two, incidentally, are running within the top 10. So, like you said earlier,
it's so nice to see the XT2 up there battling. I just can't say enough about how great it is to see this UTV racing getting as competitive as it is. I mean, even in the top 15, we have an XT3 guy as well.
We do with Matt Zeitler running XT3. And then Colin Truitt in second place in that XC3 class is running in 16th place. So out of all of our entries today, we've got almost 90 entries in this race today.
That's a lot of cars.
That is a lot of cars. I think that's split up between 8 different classes. So we've got a lot of specialty classes out there. We got a women's class that I think that Vicky Fowler's out there.
Yeah, and is Veronica Wetzel here today as well? I know she wrapped it up, I think, last round.
I think she did at the last round, wrapped the championship up. But, you know,
it's so good to see the women out there.
Still a race. That's right. That's right. I love this shot of Ironman Hill. If you're here at the racetrack and Ironman Hill is real, or I'm sorry, it's not Ironman Hill, but for these UTVs, it's the hill climb.
It's our hill climb. It's our equivalent.
Look at this. We got the 2-lap card out right now. It looks like our leaders might be due for their third lap to be completed. As I see Ricky Towery out there with a 2-lap card. Man, time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
I think this race, hopefully we finish before it gets dark out here.
Well, that is something to be concerned with.
That's another battle of the Ironman. You know, we always are delayed about 30 minutes on Saturday with the youth race because it's too dark to start it, and then the UTV race.
And normally the time changes at Ironman. So Sunday morning we're like, we don't have to worry about it. Well, this weekend the time doesn't change. So tomorrow morning we'll be battling darkness again, and they'll have a 3-hour pro race in the afternoon. But no UTV, so if it runs a little late, it'll be all right. But yeah, today we've got gray skies. It's just been overcast and cloudy and spitting a little bit of snow here and there all day long. And so yeah, when the sun goes down, it's going to go down quick tonight. Well, we saw Ricky Towery out there with the 2-lap card, but that does not mean that 3 laps are complete. We are still waiting the check-in of our race leaders right now. You know, we just had a visitor stop by here. Looked like the doctor was coming to see us.
I think she was coming to see me. She heard I had sniffly nose.
Yeah, she's about 4 years old. Best looking doctor there is. Yeah,
100%.
The kids are out there for trick or treat right now, and it's Ironman is just the race that everybody looks forward to all year long. Oh no, what do we got here? We have a disabled vehicle. Or maybe he heard it was trick or treat.
Oh, and he's like, let me get some of that candy.
Hey, I hear that. I'll go get some candy.
We also, with it being Ironman, our next round, so to speak, is our banquet.
That's true. The first weekend of December.
And we also, we need to remind you guys, if you haven't booked your hotel, make sure you book it by November 17th to get that group rate discount.
All right. Looks like timing and scoring is catching up. real quick, we've got Cody Miller continuing to lead Kyle Chaney and Hunter Miller. Sean Bogdan has taken over the 4th place position, and we're going to wait and see how this unfolds after a commercial break. But Walker Fowler right now is sitting in 5th place. We'll update you right after this.
Are you looking for a dirt bike piston that can increase power and decrease blow-by? Then check out Wiseco's all-new Racer Elite piston line. Racer Elite has been used exclusively by the pros, including RCH, Yoshimura, Suzuki Factory Racing, and are now accessible to the public. Available for popular 250 and 450cc dirt bikes, the Racer Elite series is the first off-the-shelf asymmetrical power sports piston ever made. Its fully machined billet aluminum construction features an exclusive custom lap top ring. Step up with dyno-proven power gains with Wiseco's Racer Elite piston line.
You smell it, you feel it, you can taste it in the air. Speed, man. Full wide open. Blast. I didn't really like high school too much. Too booky, too take notes, learn this, and that's it. Got WyoTech. They have full-size motorcycles. The feeling of taking them apart every day, putting them back together. You can't explain it. Everything I learned applies to now. Seeing your motorcycle that you put together right around the track at 180 miles an hour, oh, definitely rewarding. My name is Mike. My school's WyoTech.
Get on the fast track to a career. Turn pro at WyoTech.
Whether you are looking for a 150 class or 600 class deer, X Factor Whitetails can suit your needs. We offer guided weapon of choice hunts for all groups of all sizes. From the time you arrive at our location, you'll get the 5-star service. We boast the capability of sleeping over 20 people comfortably.
And welcome back to Ironman Raceway. We're joined in the booth by Jesse Strawham today. And Jesse, as we were cutting the break, we were looking over the lap times and the score. And Walker Fowler had moved from 11th place up to 5th place. We thought, okay, let's see what what time adjustments is going to do for that while we go to this commercial break. Walker Fowler continues to run in the 5th place position.
And you know, looking at his lap times, it really shows Walker's race skill. He can get through that lap traffic better than the guys around him.
Well, apparently so, because you made a great observation as we were going to, as we were on that break there, that the top 3 guys, their lap times have continued to be the same. 10 minutes and 49 seconds. Actually, Kyle Chaney ran a 10:45, Hunter ran a 10:49, and then you got Walker Fowler with a 10:58. So he's not running a faster lap time, but he's getting around that lap traffic. Everybody else is in the 11s.
11,
Everybody
12s,
else,
yeah.
11, 12, 11, 14, 11, 13, all in the 11s, and those top 3 guys are a good 20 seconds faster than everybody else. And there's Walker Fowler. He's still continuing to hold down in the 10s, so he's actually making physical passes on the racetrack. And remember, he's got to overcome a deficit,
a late start
by 20 seconds, being behind an extra 5 cars. So yeah, really an impressive drive. That was impressive right there. Really an impressive drive from Walker Fowler. But I don't want to overlook that Cody Miller, Kyle Chaney, and Hunter Miller are all putting in impressive drives on their own.
And you know, the thing about those guys is they're staying so close together throughout this race. They haven't really changed positions yet. They haven't really broke apart from each other. They're staying consistently close, and keeping consistent lap times as well.
Yeah, and that's key for a race like this, is you have to have that consistency, and there's no margin for error here. Not when you've got your competitors breathing down your back bumper like that. You've got to be fast, and you've got to know where your lines are. And, you know, even as a navigator, you got to have it dialed in.
Those passengers, you know, they play a huge role as well. They do a lot more. You know, you don't get to go in that car and sit there. You've got to point lines and be ready.
You got to point lines, be ready. Of course, the rule book also says that XC1 can have a horn. So usually the navigator's job is to be blowing that horn and telling people to get out of the way so the driver can focus on driving to victory. But yeah, the navigator's always looking around for a faster, better line. Maybe he'll miss it one lap, but he'll remember, okay, when we come back around this next lap, I'm going to point my guy that way. And so all these guys at the top of the XC1, it's really a good team effort here.
It's not only getting the car dialed, it's getting your team dialed as well. It really is. You know, some of these guys like Cody, I know his passenger, he keeps a consistent passenger.
You know, and speaking of communications, it's just so folks at home understand there's no communication from outside the car. So,
No.
so your pit boss isn't there. It's not like NASCAR where they're telling you what to do. You can have communications in the car to talk to each other, or you can just shout at each other. But but that's it. So it's really, you got to have a cohesive unit. You know, I think that with the success that Kevin Trantham has been having, he won a race. He followed it up with a podium.
And it was after he got his passenger, Nick Snickers, back. Nick wasn't here for the first half of the season. The second half since August, Nick's been in the car with Kevin again. And they're back on top. And, you know, both those guys race 4x4.
That's true. That's true. Well, actually, we did an interview with Kevin, so let's hear what he had to say.
Well, we started out today on the 4x4, you know, in the 4x4 Pro class, and had a great day. Ended up second in class and on the podium there with that finish, you know. So I was real happy about that. You know, we had a good day, and, you know, at 4 o'clock that evening we jumped in the side-by-side and headed to the start line, you know, and just another normal day, you know, of racing and stuff, just hoping for a good finish and everything. So we were running really good, you know, we were passing a lot of the front runners and stuff, so I knew we were moved up toward the front, and we come around to get the white flag, and somebody said we was in third place, and I was super pumped. I just want to get on the podium, you know, so we just rode a good last lap and you know, just tried to be consistent and come around to the finish line, and somebody said you got the win. We went out and walked the track yesterday. The track looks good. You know, it's a little wet, got some rain here, which I think they needed. So, yeah, we're looking for another good day today. Hope to put the Player Scrambler up on the podium this morning in the 4x4 class, and then we'll jump into Razor this evening and see if we can't put that thing back up on the podium today as well.
And, you know, he did get that podium position on that 4x4 with a second overall.
Second overall. Well, he's man, he's having a great season. You know, hey, look at this. We've got the white flag out, and the number 1 is checking in right now. But was that was a lapper?
That is a lapper.
And there's clear air behind him right now.
He doesn't have Kyle Chaney right
Where's
there
Kyle
breathing
Chaney?
on his neck the way he has been this entire race.
There's
there
Kyle
he
Chaney
is.
right there, still within sight. I wouldn't give that on the last lap. I wouldn't give that guy any more room than that.
No, you know, Cody Miller is just wild, is the best way to put it. He is wide open out there, and you know he's going for it, 100%.
He is. Where was it? I guess it was Florida this year. On the bike day, I lined up in the morning class, and I looked to my left, and there's this guy with a thumb throttle. It was Cody Miller.
He has a thumb throttle on his bike.
He has a thumb throttle on his bike, and he goes for it too, man. I was in.
Well, you know, he comes from the ATV motocross.
He does, and he knows how to ride it. Man, he I think he ripped a whole shot right there, and I lost him after the third corner because I was on the ground and he was still moving, and he just goes for it. That guy. He knows how to race. He loves to race. And he's really found a home in UTV racing. So I hope that you know he's having a great season right now, and looks like he's on his way to a strong finish here at the Ironman GNCC. But he's still being chased by Kyle Chaney.
It didn't.
And his brother Hunter Miller, that's Cody's brother Hunter Miller, is still in third place position. 3 laps are well, I haven't had this updated yet, have I? All right, so we will wait and see once our live events feed gets caught up to us here that are watching the live TV screen.
Yeah,
then
I'm
we
really
can bring you
excited
some
to
lap
see where
times.
Walker Fowler is as well, and see if he moved up a couple more positions. You know, we can't say Cody Miller, Kyle Chaney, Hunter Miller are where they're at because we don't know where Walker Fowler is on time adjustment.
Exactly, and Walker was supposed to start in the second row, so if he was in this, he'd be throwing us for a loop anyway because of the time adjustments. At least the Miller brothers and Kyle Chaney started on the same row, so we're not playing this time adjustment game. But yeah, you're right. Once Walker gets caught up, and William Yoakley, I think he was also on the front row from the start, and he was at the end of 3 laps. William was in 6th place position, waiting on scoring to catch up with us here. But we're getting some really cool shots of our finish line here on RacerTV, and you can just see that this dirt working out perfect for UTVs.
It really is. The great thing about Ironman, you know, when it rains, that hard pack's still underneath in there. So no matter how much rain we get, how much mud there is, by the end of the day, that's all cleared off. And it's still an incredible track. This facility is just so unreal. And of course, the Racer Productions crew, you know, they really, hats off to them on putting together a great course this weekend. Everyone from the 10 a.m. race, the aces, the youth, all just had nothing but good things to say. They said it's the best track in a very long time.
Well, that's looks like I just got an update, a refresh on the screen here. We've got Cody Miller in first, Kyle Chaney in second, Hunter Miller in third. But look at, you've got a keen eye there. Walker Fowler is now in 4th place position. But what we're really looking at here is Cody Miller. We saw that gap when they came through the finish line and said, hey, where's Kyle Chaney at? Well, that's because Cody Miller ripped a 10-minute and 27 lap time, 20 seconds faster than his previous lap.
Speeding up towards the end of the race. He's conserving energy, and he's just going to put it all here on this last lap. I'm really excited to see it.
Well, it's funny, Jesse, that you would say conserving energy, because don't you just sit there and turn a steering wheel?
Not at all, no. I mean,
isn't that what all your friends at home say?
Yeah, everyone's like, hey, you know, that can't be that hard. And really, it is. It's brutal on your body.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely it is.
And especially if you're not dialed in, you're banging off of everything. So it's
well,
really,
that's the thing about Cody, is he's dialed in. But we also know that Kyle Chaney is dialed in, and there's no doubt that Hunter Miller's dialed in. We're seeing that Walker Fowler is getting dialed in as this season has progressed. He's figuring this UTV thing out. He's a threat for the podium right now. He just turned a 10-minute and 51 lap time. Again, very, very consistent. Hunter Miller probably had some lap traffic in front of him, turned at 11:07. So we're seeing these guys start to spread out just a little bit. There's a little bit of a gap between first and second, and third, and fourth. But Walker Fowler's on the move.
Walker Fowler's, you know, he's out there and he's looking for a podium finish again.
Looks like we're seeing some white smoke at the hill climb here. It looks like somebody blew a head gasket.
Oh, that's common, you know, throughout the UTV race. This hour, people are like, you only race an hour. That's really brutal on the car. They don't realize what these cars are going through.
Oh,
you know?
for sure. And I think, I don't know that I've seen a car that doesn't have their radiator remounted to the rear. But if there is a car out there that has the radiator in the front like it comes from the dealership,
they'll learn real fast.
They'll learn very fast because that thing will plug up and you will blow a head gasket probably at the hill climb, just like what we're seeing there. So I'm pretty sure that all these cars are having.
Oh, no.
We've got a down Yamaha. We've got a Yamaha blowing smoke back there. We're trying to get a good look at who that might be. We wouldn't want to name any names. What's that number plate?
That doesn't look like a 1.
That doesn't look like a 1. It looks like it starts with a 5.
Yeah. Oh, that's 54. That's Walker Fowler.
That's Walker Fowler.
Oh, no. Oh, and after that happened to him earlier this year as well.
It did. Every time he puts in a good drive. But you know what?
At Mount, that's when, you know, he was putting on such a good ride and it had the flat tire issue, and now.
Yes. And this is, you know.
Oh, he's stuck.
He's stuck, and he's overheated the machine, and he's really stuck. We're if you're here at the track and not able to see the RacerTV feed, we've got the RacerTV crew has zoomed in through about an acre of trees, and so we're getting glimpses of what's happening here, trying to figure out the picture from there.
It's looking like he's high centered there. You know, that section is right along the creek bed, so it's a little bit wet. There's a good chance it's gotten rutted out after you know, we had, 500 something racers in the 10 a.m. race.
You take the line that you took the last lap that worked out so well, and this lap, it could put you in that exact situation. And that honestly can happen to anybody. And, you know, fortunately,
that's part of racing. You make bad decisions.
Fortunately, our top 3 guys have already come through there, so it didn't happen to them, but it happened to Walker. And Walker, we hate to see that for you, buddy. You put on such a great show today, and we were cheering you from the booth here because we like to see a great show just as much as anybody else. But man, good luck digging that thing out.
It's looking like that. They're looking for some more mud fleas to try and get him up out of there. You know, it's cold too, so. These guys are out there all day on these hills, and then they're coming to help these riders as they're getting stuck.
Yes, that's true. And then we've had some spectators that are out there all day long, and I don't know how their fingers.
Spectators, yeah, how are they still using their hands?
Yeah, their fingers have got to be numb. Liquid
I know.
warmth?
That's another
Is that what
thing.
somebody said?
Is that a thing?
Liquid warmth.
Right.
Comes in a can.
Yeah. Or a bottle. You know, another thing to take into consideration is these drivers and how cold they are. That cold breeze on their hands on the steering wheel, these gloves just aren't enough to prevent it. I know this morning after I got off, I was pretty cold from head to toe. So I can't imagine what these guys are going through as it's gotten colder.
That's a good point. Now, this is probably the one day all year long that they were anxious to go put their fire suits on.
I was so excited to put that fire suit on. I said I wanted to keep it on after the race.
Yeah, for sure. But that doesn't do anything for your hands. So you either need to find it. But then if you get the big, thick gloves, you can't grip the steering wheel the way that you normally do. And that's a big deal for a racer. You know, you want to be comfortable with your setup.
The touch is definitely, it's a huge thing, especially with these Yamahas. They have the shifter as well. So you don't want gloves that are too thick where they can't control the car.
Right, right. So it looks like we're getting some beautiful shots of the motocross track here, continuing to get. And
we have a little under 10 minutes left in this UTV racing.
Yeah, we're on the white flag right now, so you know we're holding our breath here and waiting to see, can Cody Miller do it? Can Cody Miller do what he's our defending champion right now, and he changes brands during the off season. Can he bring home his first win and bring home a championship at the same time?
And I do want to compliment Cody Miller on having such a great season on a new machine. That doesn't happen ever.
No. Well, it looks like our camera crew is zoomed out. We're no longer seeing just Walker Fowler. We're seeing more than one UTV stuck down there.
It's that wide section, and that section, that line was faster, and obviously.
Well, now, and you would know what you're talking about because you actually raced it this morning in the Polaris Ace race.
That line that's closest to us actually was not there this morning when I raced.
Okay, and that's where everybody's going right now. So where you were at, you were
filling
it up.
Where Walker was.
Right, where they were at, and it was a good line at that time. But all day long, you had the 10 a.m. race, then you had the 1 p.m. pro race, and then you had half of this race where UTVs and ATVs have been just tilling on that all day long, and that line has obviously gone away.
Yeah, that line obviously is just no longer one that we want to be taking.
No, and we are
coming to the final moments here as we wait to see if Cody Miller can wrap up another championship.
That's right. We've got and joined in the booth, we've got Rodney Tomlin there. Rodney, you were down there on the start.
Yes, I was.
You called the whole shot, Cody Miller, and he has been leading this wire to wire. We're watching RacerTV.
And
Cody Miller,
look at him coming through that
railing
section.
the corners. He thinks that Kyle Cheney's all over him.
And that's why he turned to 10:30 last lap, is because he thinks that Kyle Cheney is still right there.
That's right.
You don't know.
He turned the fast lap time, and there it is. Congratulations, Cody Miller, bringing home the win here.
How fast he was rolling, though.
And
Cody Miller.
Where's Kyle Cheney? Look. He left it with that open space.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier, is that Cody, when he gets on it, he just goes.
Yeah, that's all that kid's ever known is fast and faster and faster and faster, and that's exactly what he pulled off here today. I sit and listened, and I didn't sit. I was doing some stuff, and I was listening to you guys call this race, and what a fabulous race. The 1 car, the 2 car, finishing up 2 years back to back. This is kind of, I guess, iconic and ironic as the way they went last year. I don't know where Kyle Cheney's going to finish up this year, but kind of neat the way the 1 car and the 2 car following the 1 car across the finish line, and back-to-back championships for Cody Miller. That's impressive as well. He was so close in this being his first win of 2017, and so impressive that he did it the way that he did it, pulling out so far ahead on this final lap like that. When you're going to win, you're going to win big, I guess, and he's got things figured out. He's got things dialed in. He knew that championship was at bay. He went after it with everything he had.
Everything he had. Well, I'm going to run over to the podium. We'll catch these guys for RacerTV and do some podium interviews with them. We're waiting on, I don't know if we caught it, that Hunter Miller, if he came in or not.
And, we're still waiting for Hunter Miller to come through as well.
Yeah, still waiting for Hunter to come in, and that's going to shake things up as far as the second place position is concerned. If you take a look at points right now, it's going to take quite a bit because there are over 20 points. So basically, wow, Hunter should have second place wrapped up regardless at this particular point. But man, Kyle Cheney really putting things together. He got 2 wins this season, a 9th place finish, and not showing at that one round. Well, Kyle actually won the Torque Championship, so that's pretty cool. And what's really neat about that is that you know, he did get the one title. He comes out, and you can show he fought to get as close as he could for this one. And in the next season, I think this is going to be really, really interesting,
well,
to be honest with you.
he came off of that Torque Championship and came back to GNCC Racing, took a win. And then we have Cody Miller out here, who hasn't won a race all season, but stayed consistent in the top 5. You know, he has a second, a fourth, 2 more seconds, another fourth, and now he takes the championship with a win.
Consistency, you know, and you have to wonder if that might have been the rule of thumb for Cody this year. You know, I wonder, because, you know, he had a program that was untested, untried. He had no idea what was going on. No one had taken on the responsibility of a YFZ Yamaha machine at this particular point. And here he was with a national championship to defend in doing so. And I think he showed not only how strong this new car is that Yamaha's got out on the market, but honestly, how smart and a well-put-together racer he is. I heard you guys talking about race strategies and things like that all season long, and this right here, and that's what it's come down to. That's exactly what it's come down to, and he won it by using his smarts as well as his talents and skills.
And you know, you've got to also take into consideration his co-driver. His co-driver, he does give a lot of thanks to him as well. The work that he's put into this program. You know, Cody's not new to racing at all. He comes from ATV motocross, and then he comes to GNCC in the side-by-sides. He races an ATV sometimes, of course, the bike. And for him to come out here and just show what he's made of.
Yeah, this is
2 years in a row
yeah,
now.
a champion, no doubt about it. And, you know, Cody came into this one kind of I mean, he wasn't an unknown. Like you say, he's familiar. You know, we were familiar with Cody from the ATV motocross racing world, and he and his brother, from my recollection, I think they had they did peel back from the national scene, did a lot of stuff in the off-road in Texas, and then of course we started seeing them kind of hit and miss. I think season before last.
In 2015.
Yeah.
It was the same. Yeah, they came in about 2015. You've seen them here and there, and then last year they just came full force. You know, Cody came and he took that championship, and for him to take another, and with the talent coming up here, you know, we have Sean Bogdan, Kevin Trantham, which Kevin Trantham's not a new name to GNCC Racing.
Right.
Walker Fowler in there.
Yeah.
Next year's racing is going to be incredible.
Well, I can tell you it is, because I know that Walker really takes it serious. You know, the first round he wasn't so serious about it because he'd not spent any time in the car or anything whenever he'd gone to Florida, but there was a lot of time in between some racing after that. You know, he actually got a race and do pretty good, pretty decent the next time he raced it, and he thought, wow, I wonder what I can do with a little practice and a few of the right parts on this machine. And he was, yeah, I think he proved it. I mean, I heard you guys talking. He turned some of the fastest lap times. I don't know what happened to him out in the woods there. Did he get stuck?
He got high-centered on a line that was a hot line throughout the day, and it got rutted out.
So, I think he proved a lot to himself this season in that. And I think as much as anything, he may have given himself another goal, something else to work towards. So next season.
In addition to that perfect season.
Right. So, I mean, it might be something to take his mind off of the pressure of that, you know. So these two things might go hand in hand for Walker, and it could spell disaster for everybody on the ATVs out there at the 1 o'clock race.
And it's also exciting to see how much the Yamaha has grown over this season.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, when this thing was introduced, the benefits of it with the clutch and this gear shifting, and I mean, it was like, you know, it was a racer's dream, you know, an ATV racer's dream. Anybody that likes to go through the gears, and not taking anything away from the other cars, because obviously they have got, you know, Polaris and Can-Am, they have got these things dialed in. There's no doubt about that. And yeah, I mean, it's for a certain type of person and certain type of racer, it works well for them, I think.
And it's caught on so fast as well. You know, Yamaha 3 years ago wasn't someone that you would see in the top.
No.
And
no,
now,
and Rhino was the biggest sport UTV that they had out on the market, and you know, Rhino.
You don't want to take that out there and go GNCC racing.
Not anymore. I mean, at one time, yeah, but the way things have progressed, it's been kind of tough on them. But you know, it's certainly I think, opened the playing field up quite a bit. I think that, honestly, I think you ought to be ready for another introduction of another manufacturer. You know, there are a couple others out there, the big 4 or 5, you could say, that haven't necessarily introduced anything.
Honda.
That
Kawasaki.
Exactly. That's what I'm alluding to. So I've seen some Kawasaki representatives here this weekend. I know that there's some HRC people here. And so with that being said, I think there's a lot of interest that's being taken in what's going on here in the GNCC racing world in this UTV market.
And UTV racing continues to grow. I mean, the numbers are up. It gets the spectators. It's great to see how far it's come.
Yes, yes. And honestly, to see the starting line at a UTV start, you know, when we first started it, the first couple times it was pretty big because it was something new. But once we started the championship a few rounds in, you know, there'd be just basically the people that came.
It looked like an ace start.
It did. And it was, and that's
growing too. We had 14 entries this morning.
And a lot of people on the starting line. I've noticed that a lot for you guys as well. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of it took on. It grew. The popularity of it grew because so many people can relate to this. It's more like a car and driving. You know, that's why a lot of people relate to NASCAR driving. That's why it's so popular. You can relate to sitting behind the steering wheel of a car and driving it. Not everybody can relate to actually having a ATV or UTV under their belt.
Exactly, and having a passenger.
From this earlier day's race, I'm not hearing any cues from our booth in there, but it looks like we got some action coming in from earlier today. If you're watching, ooh, look at there. That's that gets interesting right there. Makes for interesting racing. I saw that happening, but that
was the 777 of Josh Davis too, and that's Cody Miller, you know, taking it home on the first lap there. He didn't look back from there.
No, oh, look at that. He made it. Look how they crisscrossed right there. That was pretty interesting how they switched up lines at the very last moment, and I think it paid off well for both of them whenever it comes down to the end of. Obviously, Cody got the better end of it in the end. He led this one basically wire to wire.
And through this section here, that's the beautiful thing about Ironman. We've been racing this track so long. The amount of lines at the bottom of these hills are incredible.
All right, well, it sounds like we're about ready to go with the great things that's taking place here in the celebration lane. So let's head on down to Chuck Lee Master with our winner, Cody Miller.
Yeah, buddy. All right, thank you. Hey, I'm down here with Cody Miller, just pulling in off the track here. Cody, man, congratulations on what a great drive today. You know, I don't know if you're aware of this, but you turned it on at the end there. You were actually faster your last 2 laps than you were any other time in a racetrack.
You know, I've lost so many races this year. I've come in second place too many times. I knew that second line time adjustment, you know, it could get me. So me and Cody had a clear track. We let the Yamaha just fly out there, and it was solid the whole race. Car was perfect. Once the track opened up just a little bit, I was able to really let it go, and thank God the lappers kind of cleared out in the last couple laps, and yeah, we gave it all she had. We didn't leave anything on the table.
No, that's for sure. And not only did you win your first race of the year with a new team and a new car, but you clinched a championship today too.
Yeah, it was a nail biter. I tell you what, my brother Hunter Miller and I, we came down to the wire here at the end. I only had 3 points on him coming into this last race, and it was hard. We've been talking about it a lot. You know, we're like, hey, let's try not to take each other out. Let's try and keep it clean. May the best driver win, and thank God I was able to pull it off.
Well, congratulations to you, man. We're really happy for you. We'll let you get out of this car, get warmed up real quick. Back to you guys there in the booth.
All righty, thanks a lot, Chuck. And I think I saw it on Facebook. It popped up yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. I think Cody Miller might have celebrated his birthday in the last few days. So a belated birthday present for him to take a win and his second national championship. I know Donnie Luce is in the house from Yamaha. He has got to be pumped right now, man.
Between Walker Fowler and his championship, Tracy Pickens on her 10th championship.
No doubt. They cleaned house today, did they not?
Yamaha just really took it.
And here's Walker pointed it out on the podium there at the ATV race. He said, you know, Yamaha, he said, I won 12 rounds and Johnny Gallagher won 1 round. That means that Yamaha goes undefeated for 2017. And that's pretty cool whenever you look at the XC1 class. One bike brand wins the entire
yeah.
Yep, and there you go. There's our top 10 here at the AMSOIL Ironman GNCC. Our unofficial results got Miller, Cheney, Sean Bogdan in third, Matt Zeeler in the 4th place position, Kevin Trantham, who took a win.
Matt Zeeler is from our XC3 class.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
For him to be 4th overall.
That's pretty amazing. So Zeeler might be one we want to keep an eye on in the future as he finishes 4th overall here. Trantham in 5th, John Barnes in 6th, Darren Oakley in 7th. Cole Secoy was 8th, Brian Riggs in 9th, and Jonathan Powers rounding out the top 10. That, again, Matt Zeeler.
We have a lot of Darren Oakley, Jonathan Powers. Those are our XC2 guys. To see XC2 and XC3 in that top 10, it's looking a lot.
Like it's
It's so competitive.
Right. It's reflective of what we see in the other forms of racing. We're starting to see the other classes mix in. Just because you're in the top tier class doesn't necessarily mean you're the fastest one on the racetrack that day. And that's what I love about the design of GNCC racing. Everybody's, you're racing your class individually, but at the same time, everybody's racing everybody. And that's what it's all about, man. Grand National Cross Country Racing. Wow. My heart just pounds every time I think about coming out here.
Mine
watching.
too.
Man, it's amazing, that's for sure. But what a great day so far. We got more racing coming up tomorrow with the two-wheel action. Caleb Russell going to try to set a new all-time wins record in the bike side of things at 47. I think he's tied with Scott Summers right now at 46. So he will be a 5-time GNCC champion and possibly may even be the winningest two-wheel GNCCer of all time. So we'll be looking forward to that. We'll get underway with the action about 1 o'clock Eastern time here from Crawfordsville, Indiana tomorrow. And trick or treat going on right now. Chuck LeMaster is wanting to get these podiums done so he can head over to
our
Team
costume
Faith
contest.
Costume contest at 6 o'clock at Team Faith.
And chapel service at 7.
Chapel service at 7. And also, if you've got transponders, folks, we need you to return those over to rider registration. Miss Rita's really concerned right now, saying we got lots of people coming in. We want to make sure everybody's got a transponder when it comes time to go racing tomorrow. Well, thoughts, reflections there, and I tell you, I guess we've kind of said it all. It's been a great year. We've got the stage set for a great one next year. I want to say thanks to everybody here at RacerTV. This has been a live presentation from Crawfordsville, Indiana's AMSOIL Ironman GNCC. Thanks to Kerry Russell, our executive producer, Chelsea Taylor, producer Adam Gordon, director, tech manager Dan Reinhart, and utility guy, the utility belt himself, Josh Zaleski. Chuck LeMaster and Jesse Strawham, thank you, and also Adam Thistlewaite, Andrew Mahey, and Caleb Coughing, and Dylan Adkins from Crawfordsville, Indiana. The AMSOIL Ironman GNCC for RacerTV.com. I'm Rodney Tomlin. Have a great day, everybody.